President Biden is preparing for his first news conference of the year. It comes during a pretty rough time for the White House. The last time the president spoke with reporters was on November 2nd in Scotland. Now, at that time, he was on the verge of signing his biggest legislative achievement yet, a transformative $1 trillion infrastructure bill. His agenda since then has gone off the rails a bit. And of course, the administration is trying to get back on track, focus on the messaging, as there are several issues here at home: an exponential rise in COVID cases, record high inflation, political gridlock over the Build Back Better Act, and the voting rights legislation that hasn't been able to budge, plus a mounting immigration crisis at the Mexico border. Internationally, there's the potential Russian invasion of Ukraine and nuclear threats from North Korea and Iran. All of this as the president prepares to mark 1 year in office. Allison Harris is live at the White House this morning. I know, Allison, you'll be attending the president's press conference today and able to ask him a question in person.
Hopefully, Adrienne, that's what we're hoping for. We're certainly prepping for that today. This is actually only the president's second solo formal press conference since he became president. We've been prepping for this, looking over his achievements and then, frankly, some of the failures. Achievements include passing that infrastructure bill, a historic investment in roads and bridges in this country, this massive vaccination effort that can't be overlooked, the greatest economic recovery in American history. But you went through that laundry list, Adrienne. The president has gone to Capitol Hill 3 times to try to beg Democrats, his own party, to help him pass his domestic agenda. We're talking about voting rights, police reform, remember that, the families plan part of the Build Back Better agenda, and that has been stalled largely in the Senate. We're also talking about the highest prices in 40 years, and of course, not to mention the ongoing pandemic. We're looking forward to the opportunity to ask President Biden questions about this today.
President Biden will step up to the lectern this afternoon, taking questions from reporters in his first press conference of 2022, something he has shied away from in his presidency, on the eve of the anniversary of his inauguration.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
It comes as our exclusive NewsNation Decision Desk headquarters poll finds that 58% of Americans disapprove of his job as president, as his domestic agenda is stalled in the Senate on voting rights and Build Back Better. Prices are the highest they've been in 40 years. And the president was just dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court, denying his vaccine and testing mandate for big businesses. According to our poll, a majority of Americans, 55%, don't approve of his handling of COVID. Half of Americans believe the pandemic is never going to end, despite President Biden's assurances.
If we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day.
Now, Omicron is surging, breaking pandemic hospitalization records. While at home, the president has delivered the fastest economic recovery in American history. The unemployment rate is back to 3.9%, near the pre-pandemic level of 3.5%. But there's also concerns of what's happening overseas, especially on the Ukrainian border. Will Russia invade? And what would that mean for the U.S. as a world power after the president's repeated warnings to Russian President Putin? A number of questions the president is set to face today.
And this press conference comes as the White House is officially launching that website, covidtest.gov, where people can go online and order their share of those at-home COVID tests. The president, of course, ordering hundreds of millions of these tests to be distributed to Americans through the mail. And at the same time today, another announcement, masks being made available for Americans. The White House announcing 400 N95 masks are going to be released from the strategic national stockpile. Those will be distributed through thousands of pharmacies and community sites all across the country. Adrienne?
You know, testing availability has been a big topic. Masks that will actually protect you from Omicron has been a major topic. But in citing our exclusive poll for NewsNation, you know, a lot of Americans seeing that this pandemic will never end. I would presume that the administration is aware that in this country there's a divide between seeing a pandemic that will never end and whether we can move on with life within that pandemic, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they're looking at the polls more than any of us. They're the most concerned about those poll numbers that do not look good for this administration and haven't for months, really since this summer. That's why they're doing things like making masks available and making tests available. But I think you have to note, testing was a problem in March 2020. It's January of 2022. We're still talking about this issue. It's still having to be addressed by the president.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Allison, you make great points, and we're looking forward to seeing you. We all are going to be watching President Biden's news conference at 4 o'clock Eastern, while Allison has a front row seat. You can watch it on our website, newsnationnow.com. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.